Hello, my name is Hunter, and today I will be analyzing Satisfied from Hamilton for my American Musical Theater class. In this video essay, I will be covering the musical, performance, dance, and theatrical elements of Hamilton's Satisfied that make it one of Broadway's biggest and best songs of the 21st century, but first, let me set the stage for you. Hamilton takes place over the decades of Alexander Hamilton's life, and it ends with the death of his wife Eliza. This happens between the years 1757 and 1854. Our story, taking place during the founding of America, majorly in New York, is what shapes the themes and story as we follow a scholarly and scrappy man working his way through the ranks, from immigrant to general to lawyer to becoming the treasurer of the United States. But in this video, we will be focusing on a side character, Angelica Schuyler, and her showstopper number within Hamilton, Satisfied. Angelica is in many ways a female foil character to Hamilton. While Burr rivals Hamilton in his career, Angelica rivals him in his personal life. This song is deeply revealing of her character, which I'll touch more on later. It also shows the contrast in political and economic status between Hamilton and the Schuyler sisters. Eliza, Angelica, and Peggy come from a place of power, and Hamilton is trying to climb the ranks. He does this through his own biggest power, the power of words. Winning over two of the sisters, Angelica gives him to Eliza. The song follows Angelica as she meets Hamilton and deducts what kind of person he really is. She still falls for him, but has to hand him over to her sister because she knows that she is socially responsible to marry a man that will extend her family fortune and her name. Musical elements. Renee, who plays Angelica, has a very expressive voice, and in this song we get to hear her use more of a traditional belty Broadway theatrical kind of sound. Her vocal expressions make the character easy to read as intelligent, emotional, and responsible. She also sings with a very open, full, and round sound. The song itself starts as a wedding toast, but it moves into a retelling of the story through Angelica's perspective. We see this beautiful shift from the toast into a reflective moment before going into storytelling, and utilizing motifs that we've already heard up until this point in the musical. The harmony in this song actually works really great because the harmonies that we're hearing actually come from both the male and female wedding parties, and they're toasting back and forth throughout the song, of course, to the groom and to the bride, which makes perfect sense within context of the song.
And the hope that you provide,
The majority of this song, namely the verses, are very precise and very sharp. The lyrics are written syllable by syllable to fit into the intricate rapping portions of the song. The song moves very fast and largely follows a repetition of 8 core notes that are changed throughout the song.
all right,
Did you get that? Listen again.
all right.
If you listen to the song with these 8 notes in mind, you'll realize that they're pretty much always there. They create the timing and structure for the piece. Because of this, the texture of Hamilton in general, but Satisfied as well, is a very dense and wordy musical. Satisfied coming in at just under 800 words in the song. The song also uses repetition and repeating of themes to make the song more connected to the rest of the musical. The melody is of course built off of those same 8 notes and continues throughout the song. It creates the core, catchy melody of the piece, and Renee carries this mainly vocally, but she is joined at times throughout the piece by other members of the ensemble. At one point in the song, it also uses part of Eliza's motif from Helpless to show the different perspectives that each of the girls have on the same person.
Then I turn and see my sister's face, and she is helpless. And I know.
The role of Angelica is a mezzo-soprano part, and this song especially is sang in a traditional musical theater mixed with modern rap and hip-hop style. Dance elements. As far as traditional movement goes in the song, it's actually quite interesting because Angelica becomes the sole narrator of the song. She gets almost removed from the scene, and she stays central almost the entire piece, moving very slightly around the stage to interact with the time that's moving around her as she's recapping events from her own perspective. Her main significant movement in this is actually doing the toast from the wedding part of this song. Other than this, Eliza and Hamilton are reenacting moments from just prior in the play itself, and the ensemble cast is acting as the background movement and expression in the scene. Space and how it's used in this song is actually probably one of the most important elements of this piece. Angelica stays central while the world moves around her. The environment created by the background dancers makes the scene move from scene to scene very flawlessly, like you're actually changing locations, even though it's all just happening in one place. The turntable element of the song adds to the time warp effect, as well as the fact that the dancers move in very circular motions to make everything be happening around Angelica, because this is from her perspective and she is the focus of the piece. For the duration of the song is actually quite long, clocking in at over 5 minutes, making it one of the longest songs in the play. And because time is actually one of the central themes of the song, this makes sense. The song itself moves from fast to slow movements back and forth between the raps and more ballad-driven parts, which drive the dancers to come often on stage to move the focus in and away from different characters. A good example of this can be seen near the end of the song when Eliza and Hamilton and the ensemble slowly move off stage as all the lights go down on just Angelica as she delivers her final reflection on everything before going back into the toast and ending the song. And lastly, the energy in this song is tight, precise, and to some degree minimal for the main character, and this really helps you develop that sense of perspective about Eliza and her character. This song has been called a masterclass in character development on all sides because of this, and this song really gets you to see every angle of Angelica, and you get to feel how smart she is, decisive, her pride, and her desire. Next up, dramatic elements. Despite this song starting a little over 30 minutes into the musical, it does serve as an exposition song, telling the story from Angelica's perspective. The same way, it also works as a summary song as it recaps and explains a lot of things to the audience. This song has the biggest traces of typical I Am songs in Broadway, telling us a lot about Angelica herself and her own motives, but the song also has pieces of things like reprise, inner monologue, and also emotional driven and climactic character songs, especially because this is arguably the showstopper of Hamilton, or at least the first act. Thematically, in this musical, this does serve as pretty much the climax of the first act, and it really sets up what the rest of the play is going to be about. This number essentially functions using musical metaphors, a portrayal of multiple themes that are being told in a non-linear way throughout. However, Angelica does function as a musical narrator. She is a character that, by the time the time scene happens, is offering a critical view of what is going on from an outside perspective, walking around the action and explaining it through her own eyes. This song consists of 11 stanzas of tightly packed rap, interchanged with more traditional storytelling and belting and a mixture of other characters piping in as well. This is of course something that Lin-Manuel Miranda is known for doing very well, as he layers different perspectives and scenes all at once, creating a very vivid and dramatic story to not only listen to but to watch as well on stage. This number is in fact so well known because of the way in which it is told. The fact that this whole song is told through a time warp in Angelica's point of view, but also in the style of a wedding toast, really speaks to these intricacies that Lin works to make these really interesting scenes. Visually, this song houses one of the most unique moments in the play where we break from reality briefly during, of course, the iconic rewind scene. But also, Lin has said that this is one of his proudest achievements as a writer, which I will come back to in the conclusion, making this a structurally beautiful song and one of the best in the entire show. It's worthy of being the show-stopping number. In addition to this, the song has smaller things that add to the spectacle of the show, like the light bulb moment at the mention of Ben Franklin, additional usage and utilization of the turntable to add to the whole feeling of circular motion in this number, as well as the wedding setting and the dancing itself. This is really the only point in the musical where we have a bit more of a fantastical viewpoint on things, but it's handled so responsibly within the script that it ends up just being an absolute highlight of the show and not something that pulls you out of the narrative. Author Rachel Lamonte put it this way: "Satisfied regularly ranks among the best songs found in Hamilton, particularly because of how it's excellently paired with the song that comes before, Helpless. While Helpless tells the story of Angelica's sister Eliza as she falls in love with Hamilton, Satisfied shows things from Angelica's perspective as she mourns the loss of a relationship she could have had." Lin-Manuel Miranda himself is quoted as saying, "I'll never top it, as long as I live," in regards to the song. Satisfied's narrative purpose is really to let the audience see how Angelica sees Hamilton through her own eyes. In this song, we actually see a glimpse of how the audience is seeing everything from an outside perspective. We get to see that someone in the narrative understands how things are working and sees things in the bigger perspective. This song is what makes Angelica one of the most dynamic characters in the play because she sees the full workings of things and you can understand how her perspective changes and grows throughout the play, and it really creates this show-stopping moment in the play in which everyone understands the person she really is. All of this mixed with the deliberate, unique vocal styling of this song and an innovative usage of the stage to tell the story and the setting is what makes Satisfied one of the best performances of the 21st century in Broadway and so satisfying to watch.